Go mid-80s. Well, there is an Omaha nonprofit excited about celebrating its 3rd anniversary.
Yeah, Radius opened to keep troubled young men closer to home instead of sending them out of town or out of state for rehabilitation. Officials at the facility tell First Alert 6's John Chapman their education, behavioral health, and family support all working.
3 years ago, we were part of the crowd as Radius officials opened their doors to the public.
We don't have a full cookout kitchen.
This time, the tour not as crowded. President and CEO Nick Giuliano tells us Radius has served more than 100 young men and families, and they believe their programs are working.
Many high school graduations, we have young men employed, they've returned home.
The look inside has changed a bit over the years. There's art on the walls and places to relax and meditate. Radius serves high-risk young men involved in the juvenile justice system. Giuliano says, according to data collected by the state, youth who complete the Radius program are 30% less likely to reoffend than high-risk youth participating in other programs.
We're a one-of-a-kind program. There's not another one in Nebraska or one in the country. And the way we've designed that is by keeping young people and families in the community they're going to live in. And so that family work is critically important.
Giuliano admits everything doesn't always run smoothly here. There have been runaways. There have been issues.
So we have an understanding that's part of the complexity that they bring here. As we've adapted our program, we're always looking at the relationship piece, what we're doing with our treatment planning to make sure their needs are being met.
Many of the youth who live here for a few months have experienced trauma in their early lives. Mental health, substance abuse issues, and educational struggles. Charles Drew Health Center has always been right next door to help deal with those issues.
Their commitment to this community long-term and their understanding of the health and mental health needs of this community are key to us being here.
3 years ago, there was criticism, skepticism. This program would not grow, but Radius is still here. Giuliano believes this program should be copied.
There needs to be more places like this developed in partnership with philanthropists who have a vision, and healthcare experts, and law enforcement, and the courts. Yes, there is a significant need for more programs like this.
In Omaha, I'm John Chapman, First Alert 6.
Now, Radius does serve boys from 12 to 18 years old.
Douglas County Deputy